Hey friends, it's Tamara Bennett from Southern Adornments Decor, and I'm live again today with two members of our Painters Clubhouse. I've got Miss Pam Brasher. I forgot to turn on our so that you can see our names. Let me toggle that on. There we go. Now you can see what everybody's names are. And Marie Mosley. They are both members of our Painters Clubhouse. So, Pam, if you will introduce yourself a little bit, kind of tell where you're from and how long you've been a member of our clubhouse, if you
Hi,
can
everybody.
remember.
Pam Brasher. If I can remember, I can remember very vividly. I've been in the Painters Clubhouse since August of 2020 because that was a month after I retired from 25 years working at a school district. I ran a before and after school program in a preschool. So this is something completely different. I did a lot of creating there, but it was different creating than what I'm doing now. I am single, but I am auntie to many. I have 4 nieces and nephews. I have to look, 10 great nieces and nephews, and 6, soon to be 7, great nieces and nephews.
Well, you are very blessed. That's a lot of little ones to look after. And where did you say you live? I don't think I
Oh, I'm
caught
sorry.
it.
I live in Escondido, California, which is in northern San Diego County. I've
Okay.
lived here
Well,
all my life. Both of my parents grew up on farms. So my father from Tennessee and my mom from South Dakota, and they met in Panama. Um, exactly.
wow.
So my roots are different than California roots. I always say. I tell people that I speak Southern and I can interpret for them, and then they laugh at me until I have to do it. So.
Well, I just got back from a trip to Central California. I went to San Luis Obispo, and I was very surprised to find that a lot of the ranchers from that area
Oh.
feel like Kentucky kinfolk to me. Like there's something that's like a common thread amongst those type of people who feel like long lost cousins to me. I don't know, but yeah, so I could see where you would say that, where you could translate easily for people to speak Southern. And then Miss Marie Mosley, if you will say, tell us where you're from and how long you've been a member of the Painters Clubhouse.
I'm from Cookeville, Tennessee. I am halfway in between Nashville and Knoxville. I've been in the Painters Clubhouse since the Welcome Lemon Spring Challenge, and I want to say that was 2020, maybe.
It might have been spring 2020. Yeah.
I think that's how long I've been here. About 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
You can hear the Tennessee twang in your voice for sure.
I am a true Tennessean, born and raised. I've
Yeah.
lived in this little town my whole life, and it's almost tripled in size since I was born. So.
I've passed through Cookeville many times on my way to the Smoky Mountains. That's the path we take going over there. Okay, so I'm seeing lots of Painters Clubhouse sisters popping on in the comments. I see Miss Rebecca. Kim says Marie is my doppelganger. Do you guys look alike?
We sound alike.
Voice doppelgangers.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was funny. I was watching Kim paint live, and my husband's like, "Are you watching yourself paint?" I said, "No."
Kim, what is your Facebook page? I'm gonna have to go look you up now to see what you sound like, just because I'm curious. That's funny.
And we got to meet each other at Erica's retreat in Louisiana, and it's funny. We do sound a whole lot alike.
Where is she from?
Alabama.
Okay, so you must have a little bit of an Alabama kind of twang to your voice too.
I just know we're both Alabama fans, and I'm pretty sure she is from Alabama.
That's funny. I see we've got Una from Arkansas. Stephanie says, I'm listening from work. Melissa from Wyoming, all over. That's amazing. Paige from Alabama also. Hey, Kara. And Miss Wanda Johnson from Mississippi. Mississippi's got a good Southern twang to it too. So I wanted to bring these two ladies on here today, and I didn't know it when I first invited them to be on here today together, but I just found out through chatting with them before we hit go live that these two ladies are both introverts. So I don't know exactly what that's like because I'm an extrovert. I mean, I do have introvert tendencies, I think, from time to time, because I do have times when I need to decompress a little bit and be by myself to kind of recharge. But I would say I'm mostly I'm like probably 75% extrovert for sure. So how does that affect your mental state when you're thinking about joining something like Painters Clubhouse? Like how did that come into play? Either one of you.
Well, for me, I think for a lot of people, social media makes it a lot easier because you're kind of hidden. But you do have to put yourself out there, and so it's digging deep for me and going out there to comment, to say something, to respond to people, and then there's connections. So for me, I have to make sure that I'm reading people's names and trying to remember those names. Sounds silly, but that way you can make those connections further down.
It kind of makes you feel like you're not afraid to comment the next time because you feel like you know the person a little better. Is that what you mean?
Exactly, right.
Okay. See, I've never been afraid to like comment on a post or make a post, so that's not an issue for me. But I could see where if you're kind of shy or an introvert, that, you know, just putting a picture of something you've created anywhere online might be a little bit scary because you're like, oh, I don't know what people are going to say, what they're going to think. So, Marie, do you have anything you want to share about that?
When I initially joined the Painters Clubhouse, it was really just for myself. I've been an artist my whole entire life, and I felt like I kind of lost myself as an artist. I became the mom, the chauffeur, the wife. I was doing for everybody else. And I've always had art supplies, but they hadn't been touched for months. So initially, the Painters Clubhouse was for me. My husband was watching. I've stalked you forever. And you started talking about the Painters Clubhouse. And my husband's like, you know what? Just do it for yourself. You love painting. It'll give you something, a goal. You have all these things released every once in a while. If you don't want to paint it, don't paint it. And if you do, let's go ahead. I cut them out. He'll help me cut them out. But being inside the clubhouse, I was a lurker. I was one of those people that I would pop on. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then I'd go paint and be done with it. And the thing that got me was when you asked me to do that video.
I think I saw a picture of it and I was like, that's cute. Can you teach us that? And I think you were like, I don't know.
It took me 2 weeks to record it. Every time I sat down to talk, it sounded like I was a robot auto-tuned. My voice was going up and down, and I finally just locked myself in my basement. And it was funny because I didn't have a camera mount or any of these things. I had 2 chairs on my table with a plank of wood going across it so I could balance my phone, and I would push start and I would go to talk and nothing would come out. And then I'd have to stop the video and then I'd have to restart it. But then after that, and people saying, oh, well, this is cute, and seeing other people actually painting it and doing it, I was like, oh, well, that's fun. So then I'd reach out and tell people, oh, you did such a great job. And then from there, I feel like I started making friendships and building connections. And some of my best friends I've met inside the Painters Clubhouse.
Yeah.
As far as like the art community goes, because I can talk paintbrushes and art with my family all day. And it's the same as my husband trying to tell me what's under the hood of our car. I mean, you got to find your tribe. You got to find your people. And it's really opened me up as far as talking. And
now you're doing Facebook Lives on your own business Facebook page, right?
I am. Yeah, and I did a craft show, and I actually stood out and talked to people. I wasn't behind my little table in the corner, scared to death. I'm initiating the conversation. I did sleep for like 3 days afterward, because that's the major thing with an introvert is when we exert ourselves and participate, our batteries drain really quick. Where extroverts get charged with people, and you match energies. We give energy. And it wears us out. So I enjoy it now. I'm not afraid of those things anymore. And I like it. I like it a lot.
So I guess you could say, like you said, you could talk paintbrushes and paints and all that all day. So that is now like a part of like who you are, and it makes you feel comfortable to talk about that because you have a lot of confidence in that area.
Mhm.
So, showing up at the craft fair and all that and putting yourself out there now is probably easier because you feel really confident in being able to answer any question they're going to ask you too.
And I've started running paint parties, so I feel comfortable telling people this is the brush you'll need for this technique, and it's helped a whole lot. It's
Yeah.
expanded my horizons as far as what I thought I could possibly do as a career.
Yeah. We were taught growing up that like art's not really a career. Like that's like you always heard the term starving artist or in my mind if you were going to be an artist that meant you had to paint these big lavish paintings and you were going to be in a gallery and you might sell them, you might become famous, but it was going to be like only 0.5% of the people who actually did that. I didn't have any sort of concept of what being an artist and making a career out of it could be outside of that. And so I think it's awesome. I think we're changing what we think about it. Plus, we're changing what our children think about it. You've got kids, Marie. I've got 3 kids, and my daughter Charlie is going to be 7 next week, and she wants to be an artist when she grows up. And she can see that that is a true career path she could go down if she wanted to. And I mean, she could turn around and take over my business in the next 10 years and run it just from the ground up if she wanted. Or she, I don't want her to have any kind of pressure to have to do that. She could totally do whatever she wants. But I love that it's a possibility for her. Whereas when I was her age, it wasn't even a thought. I was going to be either a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, or, one of those general community service type jobs that we were all taught, or a hairstylist that was a steady job we were taught growing up. Pam, will you share a little bit about why you joined Painters Clubhouse? We talked about it before we hit the live, but I remember you saying you had just retired from a job.
Correct. I was 25 years. I ran a program with over 1,200 students, children ages 3 through 14. I had about 100 staff. So very, very high pressure job, trying to keep, and you talk about kids, but then you have to remember all of those kids have parents. So that's the fun part, and talk about putting yourself out. And people always asking, well, what are you going to do when you retire? When are you going to retire? And I was going to do trainings. I'm an introvert, but I love, one of my strengths is that I'm a developer. I like to help people be their best person. And then COVID hit, and there were no trainings. There were no opportunities. I couldn't do anything like that. And then my mom's caregiver, I care for my mom who's 92, took a hiatus. And I was like, okay, I'm at home. Period. End of discussion. And I hadn't been stalking you. You just popped up in my Facebook one day. And it was like, well, I used to paint. I did toll painting. So that's, 25 years ago. And so I
I
have
didn't know
pieces
what
around my
toll
head.
painting was. Somebody had to explain it to me. So that was a thing back in like the 80s, right?
But it's very similar to what we're doing. It's interesting, because I look at it and it's like, oh, look how I used to do shadowing there, and you look how and I was like, so some of those things that I'm seeing, and so I got on and I thought, God, I did the fall challenge, so the 3 pumpkins with the buffalo plaid. So which is why you see plaid and everything, because I love doing that buffalo plaid.
I love it.
And I thought, I want to try this. This is touching. It was touching my soul. I don't know any other way to say it. It was allowing me to do that creating that I wanted to do, that I'd always loved to do. I used to make things for my staff for Christmas presents and do all of that. So I've done that all along, but I never considered myself an artist. Still working on that. But and I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a year. And I joined for a year. And for those of you who are like, ooh, I went through PayPal. You get 6 months free to pay it, with no interest to pay it off. So it was a way to do that, to get in. And I even had it on my calendar, to cancel Painters Clubhouse in August of 2021. And it popped up and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So like I said, it touched something in my soul and allowed me to do what I never thought I wanted to do.
I've done that before where you commit to a year of something because it's cheaper. And then I've put it on my calendar to remind me to cancel something a year later because I'm like, I don't want to forget that payment's going to come out again in 12 months. But, like you, sometimes you end up loving the thing and you're like, oh, I will just continue that on. I won't cancel it anyway. But sometimes, you need to go ahead and cancel stuff like that. So just know that for any of you watching, you can cancel at any time. And if you do pay for the whole year up front, you get 2 months for free. So that was probably why she chose to go ahead and do the years. It makes it cheaper. You get 2 months for free. Kim said we need to talk about your paint shelf back there behind you. It looks awesome.
This is a multimedia shelf from Walmart. It's you buy it for your DVDs.
Yeah.
And organize it by color. And then down here's my glitters and my neons. And on the bottom's like my spray paints and my Mod Podge. And
then it's very visually appealing.
Yeah, and over here's another shelf. It's got my Poscas up top and my heavy body art paint, my fluid paints. So I love these shelves.
Yeah, those are nice. Susan in the comments says that she feels like she has a lot in common with you, Pam Brasher. So I don't know.
Susan's one of the people. Yeah, Susan's one of the people that I said I try to learn some of those names, and Susan's one of those names. She's very, very sweet. She's very, very encouraging, and just don't know where she's from or anything like that. I probably should learn that, but one of those sweet souls that I've connected with.
Yeah. Are any of you guys able to come to the event that we're doing in Dallas this summer? Because that is a great opportunity for you to go deeper with those people that you've kind of met in the group and stuff like that. I don't know if Susan's planning on being there or not, but if at all possible, and you can come to that event in Dallas, it's a great chance to get to meet other crafters. I know Marie's been to Erica's event before, and there's just something about being with people in person that solidifies those relationships you've made online, isn't there?
Yeah, I can't because of my caregiving situation, but I'm coming virtually, and I would love to arrange in whatever Facebook page to get those people involved and make them feel like a part of it.
Yeah, I love that idea. Jennifer Shelton says, I want to. I'm only an hour away. I've got to get to selling. Yeah, set yourself a goal, Jennifer. How many door hangers are you going to sell between now and the Dallas event so that you can come with us? Kim says it's only 3 hours from her. Well, Kim, that's perfect. You could just drive right on up and join us then. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about why you joined in the beginning. And I think we've talked a little bit about your why for continuing to paint now. I know Pam said it feeds something in her soul. Marie said it helps you feel like it's given you a sense of identity outside of being a mother and a wife. Is there anything else you would add to that as far as why you continue to do it now or why you love it?
It's really therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you get through stuff. I lost my grandpa in October, and he was more like a dad to me than anything. And it just felt good to know that I could just paint. Like with every brush stroke, I just felt like I was more connected with myself, if that makes sense. Like you're able to process emotions because you're not having to discuss anything. It's just you and the paint and your thoughts. And if you're religious, God, and you're in that moment and you're working through something like that, it helps a lot. And now I'm making yard art for my grandpa's grave, so I can still share that with him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's therapy. Yeah. It's therapy in a lot of ways.
I feel like you said, it helps us process our emotions because we are so busy with so many distractions in our life, notifications on our phone going off all the time. There's always so many things that are there ready to distract us from our thoughts and our emotions. But when you're painting, you're able to think through your thoughts and process those emotions because you're not doing 100 things at once. You're just painting, and it gives you time to process those emotions, just like going for a walk or journaling would. Pam, do you have anything to add?
And to expand on that, with that emotions and that, I think with painting, we start out and it looks like just a hot mess. And I love the process of bringing it together. And at the end, you're like, wow, that looks pretty good. And so just the sense of accomplishment when you finish something. And so taking it from a blank slate to something that you can go, I made this and somebody wants to buy it. And it's not the end thing. I happily give them away, but it's that process to go from, and relating it to life where we can take that blank slate, you go through all the ups and downs, and at the end you're like, wow, that looks great.
I know personally it's given me confidence to do other projects that are bigger and more difficult than I ever would have thought I could have done. So I think through all of those tiny wins of every door hanger is like another check mark or another tick on the list of like accomplishments. And so with every one, my confidence builds more and more to where I'm like, maybe I could do that more difficult project, that bigger thing that I never would have thought possible before. So it's great for that. Katie says it gives her confidence too. I see lots of people in the comments agreeing. Susan also is a caregiver for her 81-year-old mother, and she is signed up for the virtual as well. So wonderful. And then Kim says she is a caregiver for her dad for 6 years, and she got started with the Painters Clubhouse back same time Pam did in August 2020. She said he has loved seeing everything I've painted because he was an amazing artist, and we lost him in January 2021. I'm so sorry for your loss, Kim, but I know that that's got to feel really good, kind of carrying the torch of being an artist in the family. And somebody in the comments wants to know if any of you guys do paint parties. I know Marie does. Do you, Pam?
I don't, again, because I have limited time, but it's something that I really want to do. I enjoy, as much as I'm an introvert, because of that developer in me, I love getting out and teaching people. And so I can't wait to be able to do that. And it's just a season of life, and that, things will change. So.
Yep. Things and that gives you something to look forward to expand this, and you'll just be all the more prepared when you do have the time. Marie, how many parties would you say you do a month?
Well, I haven't done any this year yet. We've kind of had a weird, it's
been a really weird last few years.
Like we lost our two vehicles in 6 days.
Oh my goodness.
So we've been borrowing my uncle's vehicle and my mom's car, and I actually just bought a car yesterday. So now I feel more comfortable traveling and doing stuff because I didn't want to run my uncle's car around like crazy. And me and my husband had COVID. I broke my hand. Our truck was actually stolen. We got it back, and then
Lots of setbacks.
T-boned. It's been a crazy year. So I feel like things are finally getting into a good place where I can actually schedule something and not have to go, sorry. But last year I was doing about one a month, which I felt comfortable starting out doing. My largest one was 18 people. And my smallest one was a private birthday party for a little girl, her mama, dad, and her grandparents. So they're really fun.
Yeah, they are. And I feel like the last 2 years since COVID started, it's been a rough go of it for anybody wanting to do paint parties because you have to do those in person and it's hard. And so I feel like we're finally getting to a place now where people are starting to feel comfortable getting back together again. And I think once they kind of get past the springtime and all like baseball season, soccer season, spring is always, it doesn't matter COVID's going on or not. Spring has always been a hard time for me to book parties because you've got baseball, soccer, graduation, prom, end of school year, everything, wedding season, everything hits like in these 2 months. So I feel like July, August, that's when things will really start to pick up if you're trying to book paint parties. So for anybody watching out there, if you're having a hard time booking them right now, it's not just the COVID situation anymore. It's also just because it's springtime. It's normal. So that leads me to my last question, which is like, what are your goals? What would you like to accomplish within the next year? It can be business-wise, it can be personal development, or like in your painting skills. What is something that you have a goal for? Pam, you want to go first?
I would love to get into the Procreate. I bought that and I want to get into it. I was watching my great niece designing her new logo for she is a hairdresser.
Yeah.
And she keeps me looking halfway decent.
Love that.
um, um, but watching her create a logo, and I was like, dang it, I have that class. I need to stop and go, okay, from this time to that time. So my goal, I guess, is to say, I had written it down, but from this time to this time, I'm going to work on this project and that project. And I think there's a little bit of ADD in me because it's like I like painting door hangers and on canvas and doing the shattered art. And
We want to do it
so
all.
I want to do it all. And each one does a little something different. And then I was just creating centerpieces. So yeah, doing it all, but it's like, okay, just stop. And so improving, but taking that time to improve me, and spending some time on me. And I know everybody says you just have to take the time. I still haven't learned how to do that.
It's
Maybe one
harder
day.
than you think to find that time. Okay, what about you, Marie?
I'm working on a website because I'm still just a Facebook person right now. I call myself a baby business. So that's my next step within this year is to get online shop and all of that set up. My ultimate goal is I would love to have a brick and mortar art shop / classroom. Like I'd like to have a couple of different classrooms and maybe even have people come in who teach different things. I want to have a splatter room. I want like the experience.
That sounds like fun.
As well as where people can come in and buy things that we don't have locally here for art supplies. We don't have Posca pens. I have to get it off of Amazon or I have to drive to Nashville to go to Michael's to get those. We don't have fine art stuff. I have to travel because I'm a toucher. I like to feel my art supplies, especially when it comes to brushes.
Yeah.
But that's like end game is my big thing. That's what I want.
Yeah. I could totally see that for you. That sounds like an awesome goal. I love hearing those. All right. So, would you have any final words for anybody who might be watching and sitting on the fence? Maybe they're an introvert like you guys. They're a little bit shy. They've always been a wallflower. Do you have any final words for them that might help them decide whether or not to take a chance on Painters Clubhouse?
Just do it. You're not going to go anywhere if you don't if you don't take that first step. And you could do like Pam did, have it to where you know when your payments end. And if you feel like you didn't get anything out of it, which I can guarantee you, you're going to get something out of it. Whether
you get what you put in, right?
Yeah. So just do it.
Absolutely. I know some people are like, gosh, just can't afford it. And I was like, okay, then what you need to do is go on YouTube and watch Tamara and practice. And it was some people from California going, oh, California, we just get, when our average gas price is over $6. Yeah. I get it. Truly, I do. But again, for me, it was like, this is an investment. Marie, you said it, it's investment in me. And when you start doing the math and doing all of the division and all of that, it's like, it's not much more than if you do the full year, $1 a day. And, we go out and we buy Starbucks and spend a whole lot more. So it's like, okay, maybe I give up, a Starbucks a week and that will help pay for it.
Yeah.
And
you don't have anything to show for those Starbucks after you drink them, do you?
Yeah. No.
At least after this,
So
you've got something beautiful to show for it.
Exactly.
Now, we're a family of 4. So if I don't eat out one night less than we normally do, that already pays for it. You can't eat out for less than what you pay for the Painters Clubhouse a month.
That's so true.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, I mean, if it's something, if you're one of those people saying, oh, I just can't paint, trust me, I was that person. And And, and it's like, well, I can't cut out so I went to my nephew's house and it's like, do you have a jigsaw? Yeah. Okay. Help me cut this out. And then I've borrowed his jigsaw for almost 2 years now.
I love that.
Um, so I was like, call me. He only lives a mile away from me. I was like, call me if you need it back. But he's helped a lot with the wood projects. He helped me build a memorial bench for one of my staff that had passed away, and I painted on it. So it was a wonderfully collaborative project to be able to do that. And so I just, if I can't paint, okay, you will be able to. I had people telling me that, and I was like, okay, take a look at this flower. It's blobs, and then you put paint and you shade, and now it's a flower. You don't
Yeah.
have to paint individual petals and things like that. And I think I've been saying that more. It's the techniques that I'm learning that I'm able to apply to all sorts of different things. And so that's you will learn it. You won't be sorry.
Yeah. And it's knowledge that you can pay it forward, and keep using on projects in the future. I love that you stole his jigsaw or borrowed it. And then I'm just going to say, Pam, I think you gave that jigsaw a better life. It was sitting and getting dusty on his shelf anyway. So that jigsaw's happier at your house than it is at his.
It's much happier. Well, what was funny is I cut some letters and I was like, do you have a scroll saw? He goes, yeah, Grandpa's. And I was like, oh yeah, I gave you Grandpa's scroll saw.
Can I have that back?
I know. So I didn't take it back. I didn't borrow it back, but I go down and use the scroll saw when I need to. And when it was funny, because when he was going through my dad's tools, he was like, oh, I want that. I had a corner cat sander, and I was like, I want that. And I was like, no, you can't have that. And that was before I joined. So I was so glad I kept that sander.
Where there's a will, there's a way. All right. Well, thank you all so much for hopping on here today with us and chatting just a little bit. It's been lovely getting to know both of you a little bit more. And I know that this conversation has probably touched somebody right now who's watching, who maybe has related to one of you and thought, if Pam can do it, I can do it. Or if Marie has been able to step out of her comfort zone, so can I. So I'm going to let you two go. I'm going to stay on here for just a moment longer and see if anybody has any questions about Painters Clubhouse. But thank y'all for joining me. Y'all have a great day.
Bye, Al.
Bye, ladies. Okay, so if you have any more questions about Painters Clubhouse, you are welcome to ask them in the comments. I will say that today, or that Thursday is the last day to sign up. Today's Tuesday, so you still got a little bit of time. But tonight at midnight, our bonuses go away. So let me show you what those are. We have 3 bonuses. The first one is how to paint faster. There are top tips from creatives for painting faster. So if you feel like you are just such a slow painter, that's going to help. Number 2 is how to sell your door hanger, even if you don't have a business yet. So why would we want you to sell your door hanger? Well, because it makes the membership that much more affordable. If you can sell just 1 door hanger a month, it's going to make it like you're practically painting for free. Okay. And then the last one is that design you see right here. It is a fun bonus tutorial teaching you how to do this really cool technique. So you'll be able to access that one as long as you purchase by midnight tonight. And the other question I usually get asked is, what do you get as a part of being in Painters Clubhouse? I'm going to share that with you. And Kimber Ann is asking, how many people are in the Clubhouse group? Before we opened it up, we had roughly 1,500 ladies. Isn't that amazing? Somebody said they just joined yesterday. Welcome. Okay, so I want to share with you guys what you get. You get access to our beginners course, which is going to have everything in it that you need to get you start to finish on painting and cutting your first door hanger. Now, if you are absolutely like, I do not want to cut out door hangers, I just want to be able to paint, then you can purchase the wooden cutouts from us at shopdoorhangers.com using a 20% off discount code that you get. You can use it as many times as you like, or you could take these designs, trace them on a wooden round or a canvas or something like that and paint on a different kind of surface. You also get access to over 100 different designs in our library. Those all come in a zip file with the printable that you can print out, just like the one we used on our live last night. And you can trace it on, like a wooden round or a canvas like we talked about, or you can cut it out with a jigsaw, which I'm getting ready to cut this one out on a jigsaw here in just a bit when I hop off here. because tonight I'm going to be teaching you how to paint it after you've cut it with a jigsaw and transfer the design to the wood. So that'll be great. That's happening tonight at 7 p.m. Central. So all of those 100+ designs that we have in our library have videos attached to them, and all the videos are step by step. You can follow right along with them. They tell you what colors to use, what brushes to use, all of that. And then if you decide you want to sell something that we've taught you to paint, you have permission to sell these designs. You can sell them on Etsy, on your website, at a craft fair, whatever you want. Or you could even teach these to other people in like a paint party situation, just like we were talking about, if you want to have a paint party. And then something else fun that we do is we do a Zoom paint party at least once a month, where this is your opportunity to hop on and spend time face-to-face with other members of our Painters Clubhouse. You can chat with each other, share your tips, get to know each other, and make connections. And our community is one of a kind. They are so generous and kind. We believe in community over competition. So you're not ever going to have any like drama or competitiveness inside the Facebook groups. Inside the Facebook group, there's only one group. I said groups, but it's one group. It's just a wonderful community. These ladies are one of a kind, and I feel like they truly are what make the Painters Clubhouse so special. And then in addition to all of that, we give you 2 new designs every single month. So you're going to get 2 new exclusive templates with a tutorial every month. Now, I always teach one, and then we have a guest painter come in and teach the other one. So not only will you be able to learn this stuff from me, but you'll be able to learn also from some of our guest instructors who are amazing and have some awesome tips to share. Okay, questions. Una says, are the bonuses still available for those of us who have joined, or does ours go away after midnight also? No. So if you have already joined, or if you were a member before we opened the doors, you get those bonuses also. Any new stuff we give out, we always give it to our older members as well. And so when we say it goes away tonight, we mean that if you wait and sign up tomorrow, you don't get access to those. That doesn't mean that they disappear from your library. They will stay in your library as long as you're a member, Una. Kim says, are we allowed to cut and use your designs in kids' paint kits? Absolutely, Kim. That's a great idea too. I love that idea. But yeah, you could definitely use them in that way. Suzanne B says, I finally joined last night. I stayed up way too late looking around. I was a little overwhelmed, and I decided I need to sit back and breathe. I'm just going to trust the process and follow you. Yeah, there is a lot to take in. Don't feel like you have to consume it all at once. It's just like a buffet. Like we said, you can go in and you can pick and choose your meat and potatoes and choose what you want to work on first. And then tomorrow you might be hungry again and you want to go in and pick out another sampling of things. So don't feel like you have to consume it all in one day, or even in 1 week, or even in 1 month. You have as much time as you need to watch these videos. You can watch them on replay as many times or as later as you want. Susan says, can we have workshops as well, or do we need our own design to do that? No, you can teach these in workshops if you like. I've been asked before, like if you could take one of our designs and teach it like in a private Facebook group, like for a virtual party. Yes, you can also do that. So any other questions before we wrap it up? I will say, if you will join me tonight at 7 p.m. Central, we're going to be painting that lovely Flowers for Mom design again. But tonight we're not putting it on a round. I'm actually cutting this design out, and I'll be teaching how to paint it using the template and the graphite paper and all of that. And we'll also be adding a few more details on it tonight. Whoops, that we didn't do last night, because last night we tried to keep it sort of like beginner level, as simple as possible. Suzanne said, did somebody else say something about a website that you could just adjust the size of a template? That website probably, Suzanne, was blockposters.com. So go check that out there. And if you guys want to get notified when I go live again tonight, text me at this number. You can also ask questions on this. It's not meant for customer service. So if your question is related to like your account, your payments, your login, or how do you access something, that needs to go to customer service. I'll put their number up here as well, so you can, or email, so you can screenshot it if you like. But you can also text me pictures of your projects and things like that. I love chatting with you guys via text. And it really is me, by the way. What type of wood do you usually use when cutting designs? Stephanie, I usually use 1/4-inch Revolution plywood. It's a type of plywood underlayment that you can get at Lowe's. Home Depot doesn't have the Revolution, but they do have a plywood underlayment that's 1/4 inch. So go find that at your local Home Depot or your Lowe's. All right. Well, that's all I got for you right now. I hope you'll have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Bye, everybody.